Durable Story, Episode 9, Embers and Echos. Firebird City swallowed up sound the moment the gates sealed behind the caravan. Metal groaned, magic shimmered, and just like that, the desert's constant pressure loosened its grip. Mark didn't realize how tightly he'd been holding himself together until his shoulders sagged. The air inside the city felt different. Thicker somehow, warmer, threaded with the faint hum of thousands of lives layered atop one another. Safe. Not safe, but safer. Guards moved in practiced rhythm to escort the caravan inward. Wounded were taken towards the healers' quarters. Damaged wagons peeled off towards the repair yards. Captain Yara exchanged clipped reports with Firebird officers, her tone professional, her posture finally easing just a fraction. Thane rested his hand briefly on Mark's shoulder. "You did well," he said quietly. Mark nodded, unsure how to respond. Praise still felt strange when it wasn't followed by another order. Ahead, Lord Justin Towers waited. Lord Towers stood at the edge of the inner courtyard, hands clasped behind his back, eyes half-focused as the city's awareness flowed through him. When Mark stepped into view, Dad's attention fully snapped into place. "There you are," he said. Mark opened his mouth and was pulled into a firm embrace instead. Dad just held him long enough to remind Mark that he was still very much a child. Then he stepped back. "I received the reports," Justin said, voice returning to its calm, measured cadence. "Multiple engagements, no fatalities." Mark glanced at Thane. "I just did what I was trained to do." Lord Towers smiled faintly. "That is usually how competence looks from the inside." They moved towards Lord Towers' office, the door sealing shut behind them. Thane remained, posture relaxed but alert. "The desert tested you," Dad continued, "and you endured." His gaze sharpened, not proud, but asserting. "Did you feel it? The difference between danger and collapse?" Mark thought of the sink runners, of planting his feet, of not being moved. "Yes," he said slowly. Justin nodded once. "Good. Remember that feeling. It'll save you more than strength ever could." He paused. "And Mark?" "Yes, Dad." Dad's voice softened. "I'm glad you're home." Later, in the quiet of the training courtyard, Thane walked Mark through the battles again, not with words at first, but with movement. Step corrected here, a shield angle adjusted there. "Your instincts are sound," Thane said at last. "Your discipline held. And that matters more than flair." Mark hesitated. "I didn't feel stronger." Thane considered him. "No, you felt steadier. That's different." Mark absorbed that in silence. "You're not done learning," Thane added. "You're not even close." Mark smiled faintly. "I didn't think I was." Thane's lips twitched, almost a smile. The questions came later when the armor was stowed and the adrenaline finally had bled away. They gathered in the quiet side room off the courtyard, Mark, Thane, and his father, lantern light soft against stone. Justin folded his hands. "I need to ask this plainly." Mark straightened. "Did you notice your gift activate?" Lord Towers continued. "Anything unusual? Any surge? Resistance beyond expectation? Anything you would call magic?" Mark searched his memory carefully. The howlers, the razor wings, the pull of the sand. "No," he said at last. "Nothing like that." Justin's brow furrowed slightly. Thane said nothing. "It all felt," Mark struggled for the right word, "normal. Hard, scary, but normal. I blocked them when I should. I moved when I should. I got tired when I should." He shook his head. "I didn't feel protected by anything. I just fought." Thane nodded once. "That matches what I observed." Justin leaned back, thoughtful. "No visible manifestation, no reactive shield, no recovery event." Mark swallowed. "So, durable didn't do anything?" "Not yet," Thane said evenly. Justin's gaze softened. "That doesn't mean nothing happened, only that nothing announced itself." Mark let out a slow breath. A part of him felt relieved. Another part felt unsettled. By evening, exhaustion gave way to something more familiar. Ember Grill. The same low-ceilinged warmth, the same smoky spice in the air, the same battered corner table that somehow always seemed to be free when Mark's group arrived. Bob was the first to spot him. "Mark!" The shout echoed off the walls as Bob vaulted from his chair and nearly tackled him. You went south and fought monsters? Bob said breathlessly. Real ones with like teeth and stuff? Steve leaned back, arms crossed, eyes gleaming. I heard there were 3 engagements. 4 major ones actually, corrected Mark. Darcy's gaze flicked over Mark's shield scars, posture, the way he moved now. They said you held formation. Nancy just stared at him for a second too long. You're hurt, she said. I'm not, Mark replied quickly. You're different, she corrected softly. Alexei tilted her head. Calmer. Mark sat, the familiar bench grounding him. It wasn't like the stories. Oh, please, Bob said. Tell us anyways. So he did. Not every detail, but not every fear, but enough. Steve listened with something like respect replacing his usual bravado. Darcy asked sharp questions, distances, timing, reactions. Bob winced at all the worst parts, and Alexei nodded thoughtfully. Nancy never took her eyes off Mark. When he finished, the table was quiet. Then Bob exhaled slowly. Okay, so you're officially terrifying now. Mark snorted. I'm really not. Nancy smiled. Small, genuine. You did great. Something warm settled in Mark's chest. As the night wore on, laughter returned, plates emptied, the city outside hummed. For the first time since leaving Firebird City, Mark didn't feel watched. Not because the Watcher was gone, but because, for this moment, it didn't matter. He had endured, he had returned. And tomorrow, whatever tomorrow brought, he would face it, steadier than before. The embers glowed low, and for now, that was enough.